just thought I'd try this trial out. This is answering your comments, so enjoy. Our first comment is from Arius Berius Fonticilla.
Maybe a tutorial on pouring water over a glass of wine. I'm learning in order to make a bar project, and that is something I am really going to need.
Right, so I'm assuming that comment is how do I animate pouring something into a glass? Right, so I've gone into the Dreamiverse, looked for glass, and found a wine glass here, which is quite handy. I'm going to place that down. And it's got inside it some wine, so I'm going to scope in and take away that glass so I can see the wine part. And I'm just going to reduce that down to a small amount in the bottom of my glass. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a timeline. And I'm going to put in a keyframe. I'm going to grab that and just get that back to 100. Whoa! There we go. Okay, so that's my first timeline, first keyframe on my timeline. And then our second one, we'll grab it and we'll make it bigger. Like so. And then we'll put a blend in. So what we should get is an increase in size. We do. Okay, and our last keyframe we'll put keep changes in, so that wine stays in there. Okay, so we can put our glass back on. Like that. Okay, so now let's create our wine pour. So I'm going to use a paint stroke, and I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a paint stroke into the glass like that. So there's our paint stroke going into the glass. Then I'm going to tweak, we can close this timeline, well, move the timeline out of the way. I'm going to tweak the painting now, and I'm going to put in some animation time, and what I'm going to do is change the fleck density. Let's turn it on. There we go, that's running in, and I'm going to up the looseness a bit, like so. And I'm also going to up the amount so I get a let's see which is the best one. That's still flat. That's better. There we go. So now we've got a more of a 3D effect of our wine going in. I've got this a bit high and need to be a bit higher. Right, so there's our wine going in. So now I'm going to do a little bit of keyframe magic. So I'm going to put a keyframe in, and we're going to go the end point, we're going to stick there, and then I'm going to put in another keyframe, and our end point is going to be there. Like like that. And then we're going to put another keyframe in. And this time it's the start point is going to be there like that. And then we blend these. There we go. And we'll put the hold on that keyframe. We don't want it to loop. We'll just play it the once. Go. There we go. And we filled up our wine glass. So I'm hoping that's what Federico wanted. That's how you animate a stroke to look like some liquid going into a glass. Our next comment is from Brandon Lee Treverton.
In the current version of the game, they've set it to automatically turn everything else black and white when painting. I find it really annoying. Any idea as to how to turn it off?
Right, I did cover this in another tutorial, but it's a very simple and quick one. Okay, so when you are scoping into an object, everything else goes grey. If you don't want this effect, if you want to be able to see all of the pieces when you're painting or making something, then press down on your options button, then my preferences, then dream shaping, and then change your visual feedback. I have it on minimal, so I don't have anything at all. So when I scope in, you see I don't get any of that black and white at all, and it means I can see the whole thing as I'm painting and there is no problems. Our next comment is from the Wolf01X.
Can you make a tutorial on how to make and animate hands, please?
Right, I'm not particularly good at rigging, and hands are a particularly difficult thing. So I'm going to say to you, go into Dreamverse and find a good set of posable hands. Now, I've used these in the past. This is Posable Hand by FlipYap. If I show connectors, you can see this is entirely rigged so that you can pose all of the fingers as you want. Like that, you can grab them, you can move them in all sorts of weird and wonderful directions, so you can have them grabbing things or whatever. And the way that I like to put hands onto a puppet, let's just put puppet mirror on, is to take our hand. We're going to need two, so we're going to clone it, and we're going to press the left stick down, and that will give us a mirror. Now remember, thumbs go into the center, so that is our right hand, his right hand, and that's his left hand. There we go, so thumbs are in the middle. So I'm going to reduce down the size of that to match the size of what I want. And you want to turn it so that it is the same angle as your puppet hands. And you need to just position it carefully. So you scope in to the hand and you position it on the puppet's hands. I've done them extra large, like so. Then I'm going to go into the sculpture, the blue part, and make it invisible. Now you can see he has his hands and they're attached, and you can't see the blue part. So you don't need to remove the hands that are there. Just scope in, and it's probably a good idea just to leave all of the connections and everything, and you can move this hand. So now I can move this hand and it moves exactly the same as it would. So you grab the blue part and everything moves. If you try and put your own rigging in to actually connect it with the hands, there's lots of things you need to do, steps you need to do extra. So I wouldn't do that. I would leave it like this and just stick your hands in like so. If you want, I would use the size of those down. There we go. And there are your hands. And like I say, you can pose those fingers so they're grabbing a gun or whatever it is that you need them to do. They're very easily posable. Okay, the next comment is from Sean Roberts.
Do you know how to set off a trigger zone only once? I want to play an animation, but not have it play ever again.
Right, okay, so he's got a trigger zone. So we'll put a trigger zone down. And oh my god, it's big. And he's got an animation, so I'll just put in a cube, and I'll just create a quick animation using the action recorder. Okay, let's put our player down. So at the moment he's got a detect zone, and that's activating. Let's just make sure he's not in that zone to start with, and that's activating that animation. So here we go, and we'll walk in, and he's standing there and he's still in the trigger zone and it's still going on. I'll walk out, it will stop, I'll walk back in, and away it goes again. Right, this is not what he wants it to do it the once. So what we do is we put in a counter. Detected to counter, counter to action recorder. We make sure the action recorder is set to once. We'll rewind the whole thing. This counter is a 1-0 counter, so what will happen is the first time you go into that trigger zone, it sets that off, that animation will run, and that will be it. So let's try it. So I'll walk into the zone, the animation plays, it's played it the once, I can walk out of the zone, I can walk into the zone, it won't make any difference, it plays it the once, and we're done. There you go. Very simple, and that works on anything. So any input that you want to happen only the once, a counter is your boy. And this is a comment from one of my Greek viewers.
Were there changes made to the game about this? Because I'm trying to replicate this lever box, and it doesn't work at all. The bolt does not attach to the inside walls of the same box. It only attaches to other sculptures. Also, how do you attach the actual lever to the purple bolt?
Right, so this is how I made my lever box. I take a cube, I make my box shape, stamp it down, reduce down the size of that shape, and then cut out the center. Then click on Start New Sculpture, get my cylinder. I'm just going to make a very simple one. You can make this much more fancy. So here is my lever. So I'm going to place that in my box, like so. Then I'm going to get a connector. And I'm going to connect it from the box to the lever. And then I'm going to move. The important thing is not where these bits are. We'll just move that out of the way like that. It's where this pink bit is. Okay, so that is the movement of my lever. So if I was to do it now, you can see That would be the current movement of my lever. Now I don't want it coming out of the box like that, so I know that this needs to be lower down. There we go. And we don't want it going into the box. So I'm just going to turn on X-ray so I can see it. I'm going to go into the tweak menu of that pink section, so L1 and square, and turn on use limits. And then I'm going to put the limiter to there. I think I might move it up a little bit more. So it's the yellow ones that are your limiter. Yeah, it still needs to go a bit more. Okay. Okay. So it will go up as far as there. Oh yeah, that's that one. And that still needs to come a bit further over. There we go. So there to there. There's my lever in its box. You need to play about with this a bit. So it looked as if I'd connected either side of this box. You can do, if you want, do that and do that. These do absolutely nothing. It's the pink thing in the middle that's the important piece. There we go. Like I say, that's how you make a lever box. Right, well that was my first Dr. Lex episode. Obviously I get loads of comments and I can't answer all of yours in a video format. I try to answer as many as I possibly can. But I'll try and gather some more of your comments over the week and hopefully do another video next week. So thank you for watching and I'll catch you in your dreams.